Welcome back to the Dark Reading News Desk here at RSA. Terry Sweeney here with Dark Reading News Desk. I am joined now by Brian Vecci, Field CTO with Varonis. Brian, thanks for doing the news desk today.
Thanks for having me.
We are talking about getting smarter with AI and security, which a topic near and dear to everybody's heart here at RSA. So many companies are deploying or planning to deploy AI copilots. Can you just share some of the bits you've been hearing from CISOs as you talk about this concept with them?
Yeah, I think last year at this time everybody was thinking a lot about AI or AI for security, and now it's security for AI. Right? All these copilots, they shine a really bright spotlight on a problem that most companies have had for a really long time. So you think about it, you can use a copilot, think of it as ChatGPT for all your data. Right. It can be the greatest productivity tool ever created. Summarize meetings, identify action items, find that one email that I can't remember who sent it to me or what it is, help me find documents that I might need, help me create new stuff. Fantastic. It's like we all have an assistant that's with us 24/7 with all the data that we've got. Here's what CISOs are worried about, and here's what every meeting that I've had for the last 3 or 4 months has been about. Employees have access to way too much data. None of their data has a label on it, so DLP doesn't work. Insiders can use this stuff, use these tools, these copilots, to find things like employee data and financial information, source code, digital secrets, API keys, private tokens, connection strings. Threat actors, this is the greatest tool that they've ever had, right? I can use this to find everything that I need to move laterally and elevate privileges, get access to new systems. Generative AI can create new data really, really quickly with these copilots. And you talk to maybe as many CISOs as I do. Everybody's got more projects than they have people. So who's going to go fix these problems? That's what everybody's worried about. I can't use the copilot until I lock down and secure my data. I don't have the people to lock down and secure my data, which means I can't use the copilots. So every copilot pilot is stuck in pilot.
You know, I was sure you were going to tell me something about like, oh, I can't get the granularity I need from like Gen AI using like filtering log files or something like that. But no, it's a much more macro problem, isn't it?
It is. Every conversation about generative AI is a conversation about data. And the problem that every enterprise has been facing for 25 years is they don't know what data they have, really. They don't know where it is. They don't know who's got access to it. They don't know how it's being used. They don't know where the really important stuff is open to too many people. And for 20 years, everybody kicked that can down the road. And what's happening right now is the problem that nobody's been able to solve on their own, suddenly they have to solve right now. Because their board is telling them, use Copilot, make our people more productive, increase revenue. We can't fall behind our competitors. But the CISOs are saying, wait, this is a privacy and security nightmare. I can't do this.
What other security challenges are CISOs up against where AI is concerned?
So that's a really interesting question. I think they're worried about what people are going to be able to do with these tools. They're worried about the AI workloads that they're building, trying to monetize all of their data and what might be exposed. They don't want their customer chatbot to start surfacing employee 401k data, which you might have to worry about.
Sounds bad, yeah.
It sounds bad, yeah, and it is bad when it actually does happen. And what they're really worried about is these tools make the job of a threat actor much, much easier. I can use ChatGPT to write a spear phishing email that will get a very high conversion rate. Then I can use the access that I've gotten, and once I'm in, I can use a Copilot or other AI tools to find, exfiltrate data. Job of a threat actor has never been easier.
So in that vein, you gave a talk earlier today about deploying AI copilots safely. Tell us a bit about the first steps an organization should take to ensure that their rollout is successful from a security standpoint. What are some pointers there?
So I'm going to start with maybe the cliche of cliches, because in security we always talk about visibility, and that's true. But when it comes to generative AI copilots, visibility you have to define really, really carefully. We're talking about data. So what does visibility with data mean? It means I know accurately where all my sensitive data is. I look at the security posture and the configurations. How are these sites configured? How are these accounts configured? Which APIs have connections to what? But I'm also looking at all the access controls. This is the really hard part. Who's got access to what? Because we have platforms like Microsoft 365 that are built for collaboration, right? We're built to make it frictionless. I can share anything with anybody at any time, and we can all work from anywhere. And it's this wonderful collaboration platform that makes us so much more productive, But that means that governance and oversharing is something that nobody can care about. Nobody can even address it. So when you talk about visibility, you have to look at all of these access controls, all of the shared links, and you got to watch how people are using the copilots and how those copilots are accessing data. If you can't answer all of those questions, you're starting from, you can't solve a problem, right? So visibility is about what you have, where it is, where it's exposed, and how it's being used, and then you can start to solve the problem with automation.
It sounds like we're tiptoeing up to the data categorization project, like the mother of them, of all time. This sounds really, really complicated.
It can be, but there's ways to automate it, right? If it requires that you have people making decisions about every single file and every single category and every single link, you'll never get it done. You'll be here till the age of the end of the universe. I saw a dashboard, a DSPM dashboard. Somebody had done an assessment, and the approach was, well, we're going to find all of our problems, and then we're going to open tickets, and those tickets will be resolved, and we'll solve all of our security problems. And we looked at the dashboard, and it said 293 million findings. Who's going to open 293 million support tickets? Who's actually going to fix that problem? The answer is nobody. So we're talking about modern problems of the data that is exposed via generative AI-based tools. You need to fight fire with fire. You need automation to fix these problems. It needs to be intelligent, because if it's not, you'll break things. And you need to start with visibility, build on top of that. And the other thing, I mean, you're dark reading. You know this better than anybody. You have to reduce the time to detection and time to response for threats, because time is everything, especially in a world where your threat actors have these tools too.
Okay, well, you've answered a few of these already, but what questions should CISOs be asking themselves as they not just roll out, but really make greater use of generative AI? Can you take a little deeper cut at that?
Yeah, so first of all, try to figure out what your unknown unknowns are. So a lot of CISOs have attacked these kinds of problems by solving them in the ways that they've always solved them. I'm going to put technology on the endpoints or the perimeters. I'm going to leverage DLP. I'm going to have the mother of all data categorization projects. None of those work. They fail, and they fail slowly, and they don't address any of the problems that we're talking about. So my biggest piece of advice for CISOs is think about the questions that you don't know. How hard would it be for you to get the answer to, what customer information do we have, and who has access to it? How hard? It should be easy. What are people actually using Copilot for, and who is referencing sensitive data with the Copilot prompts? That should be easy, but it's not. So if you start thinking about the unknown unknowns, the questions that are actually really hard to answer, you back into exactly how you're going to solve this at scale.
Okay. Brian, close us out. Athena AI, Varonis' own AI tool, is included in your data security platform. Can you just give us a quick overview about how that's helping your customers improve their own data security posture?
Sure. We talk about fighting fire with fire. Imagine if you could prompt an AI to say, show me all of the people that have been using Copilot to access sensitive data over the last week. Show me where I have customer and employee information that's available to everybody in the company. Show me who's been accessing API keys and credentials only because it's open to everybody. That's exactly what Athena does. We use AI and a large language model to build on top of the visibility that we give you, and Athena makes those outcomes, because the outcomes are our data's protected, we know when something happens, and labeling and compliance becomes simple. Those outcomes become easy, and Athena helps you do it.
Brian, great stuff on generative AI and data bottlenecks and visibility. Thanks so much for joining us on the Dark Reading News Desk.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking with Brian Vecci of Varonis. This has been Terry Sweeney for the Dark Reading News Desk. Thanks for joining us for this segment. We'll see you next time.